Welcome, dear friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy. My husband is Paul. We're an early retirement, debt and mortgage-free couple living in the state of New York. And our channel shows you how to live a full, abundant life while spending less money. So if that sounds good to you, think about subscribing. We would love to have you be part of our family. So today's video, we are going to combat inflation yet again, starting in our kitchen. We are going to talk about some ways that we really need to be on top of our food supply, how we use our food supplies, how we stretch our food supplies. We're going to give you a recipe for some homemade granola cooked in a totally unconventional way. It was mind-blowing to me. We are going to do some no-cook tomato sauce. We're going to make some pickled hot cherry peppers. And then we're going to do, as a little bonus, a fun, frugal autumnal DIY. So sit back, relax, and let's get right to this video. The first thing we want to start with is just talking about how we need to be right now on top of everything going on in our kitchen as far as food supplies go. We need, as I have talked about in the past, to be creative with our food. And we're going to show you a bunch of creative recipes today. How to use up what you have, how to use surplus of what you may be stocking, and just overall get the most bang for your buck out of your food budget right now. We have to keep an eye on our refrigerator. Don't let your refrigerator become so stocked with leftover food that things are going bad because you're not sure where things are. Things get lost in the shuffle of life. Have a designated leftover shelf. One shelf in your refrigerator that you just put leftovers on. This way you know you have to use those first. Those veggies like carrots and celery that might be getting soft, put them in stews, put them in bakes. Don't let them go to waste, or cut them up and freeze them before they go bad. Bread that's getting a little stale, you know I've done this a million times. Make some garlic bread out of it. Make some croutons out of it. Make some breadcrumbs out of it. Think of your pantry and your refrigerator and your cabinets as a supermarket. Shelf face them, just like they do in the store. When you bring new food in, put that in the back and bring the date that's going to expire soonest to the front. Just like a supermarket, you're going to want to rotate your food. Do your inventories. You know I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again because this is a food prep video. Know what you have and use it up before it goes to waste. The freezer is your friend. Anything you think you're not going to eat right away, prepare it, get it in the freezer for later use so you don't waste that money. Make sure you label what you put in the freezer too. I pulled a bag out the other day and I'm like, what is this? What is this? I opened it up, I smelled it. I'm like, oh gosh, it's sauerkraut. So make sure you label what you put in there. Just some quick hints and tips. How to get the most bang out of your buck. Common sense stuff, just a gentle reminder. The first thing we want to share with you is a granola recipe not cooked the conventional way. Most of the time you make granola in the oven. I am going to show you how to make a delicious granola in the crock pot. Yes, you heard me, crock pot. It comes out just as yummy, if not yummier than the oven. Effortless, and you're not heating up your kitchen. You're not using a ton of fuel. So let's turn the camera around and make some granola. Are you ready to think outside the box? How about we make some crock pot granola? All we're going to need is 3 cups of oats. We're going to need a 1/4 cup. I'm using vegetable oil, but you can use any mild tasting oil you want, kind of neutral tasting. You can even use coconut oil, but just make sure you melt it to get the correct amount. I've got about an 1/8 cup of pure maple syrup. I've got an 1/8 cup of brown sugar, 3/4 cup of walnuts. Shout out to my niece, Natanya. Do you see the measuring cups she bought me? These are Mickey and Minnie Mouse measuring cups. And she got me the measuring spoons to go with them. She's such an amazing young woman. So that was a gift she presented me with the other day for no reason at all. So that's always a blessing. So this is a little less than a cup of walnuts that I just crushed a little. You can use almonds, whatever you prefer, whatever you have. I have a half a cup dried, unsweetened coconut. I am going to use about a half a teaspoon of vanilla and about a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, but by all means, you can use cinnamon. Then at the end, I will add a half a cup of raisins, but that's after it's cooked. You don't want to add your fruit before you cook your granola because it will get hard and dry. So that's all there is. Let's get it in the crock pot. I'm going to ask you to grease your crock pot, which I did. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 cups of old-fashioned oats. Add my coconut. Going to add my walnuts and my brown sugar. And I'm going to mix that all together. To that, I'm going to add the oil, the maple syrup, every drop out of there. The spatula is your friend. Now we're going to mix that up. You want to make sure everything is coated with that oil. I'm going to add just about half a teaspoon of vanilla, about a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, or to taste, however you like it. I'm going to give this another mix. Now I set my crock pot on high, but what I'm going to do is leave it with this opening right here. Just want a little bit of an opening so that the moisture can come out of the crock pot. We're going to let it cook on high for 30 minutes. And then we're going to come back and we're going to stir it. And then we're going to cook it for about, in total, 2 to 2.5 hours because crock pots are so different. The newer ones run much hotter than the older ones. So you may have to lower yours to low at some point, but I'll show you as it starts to get brown. Now the trick with this is we're going to have to stir it about every 30 minutes. Our first 30 minutes went by, and now I'm just going to come in and give it a stir. It smells so good. Look at this. This is amazing. I never thought to do this. Never. So I'm going to cover it again, leaving that little opening so the moisture can come out just a little bit. And I'm going to set the timer for another 30 minutes. Another 30 minutes just went by. I'm giving it another stir. So we're looking for about 2 hours. This has been an hour so far. I'm going to put it on again for another 30 minutes. And then we'll stir it again. If yours is getting really dark brown and you notice it might be running too high, bring it down to low. Hour and a half now, getting toasty. You can see it's browning. Going to cover it again for another 30 minutes. Keep an eye on it if it's browning too quickly. So this cooked for just about an hour and 45 minutes. Now carefully, mothering alert, because the crock pot is hot, pour it out onto a rimmed cookie sheet. And then all I'm going to do, spread it out, push it down, and we are going to let this cool completely. And then we'll add our raisins. So this granola cooled completely. It is crispy and crunchy. What I did was just put it in here so I could pour it into my jar a little easier. I did add a half a cup of raisins, and I'm just going to mix those through. And I'm just going to put it into a glass mason jar. Look how beautiful. We store our granola in the refrigerator, so I am so excited to try this tomorrow morning. So this is just a great way to use up extra oats. How perfect was that granola? I like to take my granola and mix it with a little bit of yogurt and some fresh fruit. So good. If you've ever looked at the price of granola in the store, wow, has it gone up. And basically, you can keep it as frugal as you want. So you can customize this. But for us, this is a total win-win. Now, I'm going to show you how to make a fresh tomato sauce that absolutely requires no cooking at all. Those flavors come together by just letting them sit in the refrigerator is outstanding. Super frugal, very easy. Use whatever kind of fresh tomatoes you have. We are still getting bowls and bowls of our cherry tomatoes, so that's what I used. Stretch your dollar. Let's get into the kitchen and let me show you how to do this. We're using up what we have. This has got to be one of the easiest pasta sauce recipes you are ever going to make. These little tomatoes that we grew in our container garden have just been producing over and over, and we still have tons more on the plants. I want to show you what they are. They're called Super Sweet 100 tomatoes. The plant does get very big, but they are so sweet, so delicious, and they just keep producing, so it's awesome. So all I did was rinse our tomatoes. We do not use pesticides on any of our plants. All we need to do is just rinse and eat. You can see how beautiful and juicy these are. Now there are a lot of seeds, but that doesn't bother us for a meal like this. And that's just the type of tomato it is. But you use whatever tomatoes you have. Now all I'm going to do to this is take some fresh basil, drop it in. You can use dried basil, of course. I'm going to put in some black cracked pepper, about 2 cloves of minced garlic. Don't forget this trick I taught you. If you have a garlic press, you don't even have to peel your garlic. Put it in whole with the skins and then press it. The skins come right out and you never even have to peel them. So that's a great little hack. I'm just going to put a sprinkle of salt. That's it. Just a little for flavor. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're just going to mix this. Just make sure you crush all those little tomatoes. And if you're using big tomatoes, you're just going to slice them up. I used about 2 cups of those little tomatoes. So figure about that much. You can definitely use more. We'll be probably putting this over a little less than a half a pound of pasta. That is all there is to it. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to cover this and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and I am going to let these flavors just sit together all day until dinner time. Very delicious. I showed you how to make this, I think a year or 2 ago, but I just wanted to remind you again, those end of summer tomatoes are so ripe and so fragrant and delicious. Try this recipe. Now for the final delicious item we're going to be creating. We have an abundance of red hot cherry peppers. I am going to show you how to take the humble cherry pepper and pickle it. Oh, so good. These are peppers that we have grown in our container garden outside, and they just keep producing. I'm telling you, next year, container gardens, please try them. Amazing, amazing abundance of food from them. So these little peppers we are turning in to some hot vinegar peppers. You can slice them and use them on sandwiches. You can slice them and put them on top of salads. I make a vinegar pepper pork chop. Oh my goodness, where you put the pork chops in a pan, fry them, add a little bit of the vinegar, some of those peppers, so delicious. Put them on top of chicken, on top of fish. What we're doing is taking a hot pepper and we're stretching its versatility. We are making it a gourmet ingredient to add to our meals at a minimal cost. You have to look at these items and think, how can I use them outside of the box? What can I do with them other than just looking at a hot cherry pepper? How can I utilize that to get the most out of that cherry pepper throughout my meals? And this is one way you can do it. You can definitely use the sweet cherry peppers. Here's the next recipe we want to share. So we just picked another bunch of our red hot cherry peppers. So the first thing we're going to do is take the stem out, and we're going to take the seeds out. These peppers are hot cherry peppers. They even look hot. I just said to Paul, he did use gloves while he was seeding them and cutting them. They are extremely hot, but they have so much delicious flavor. He cut them in half roughly. We removed the seeds. Now we're going to make some refrigerator vinegar peppers. These are not shelf stable, but they will keep in your refrigerator for several days at least. To make our vinegar pepper brine, I'm going to use 2 cups of white vinegar. This is the vinegar I use. It's distilled white vinegar. About 1/8 teaspoon of salt, some fresh ground peppercorns. Now I'm going to take 2 cloves of garlic, just cut them in half, throw them in, and I'm going to let this come to a boil. So the vinegar has come to a boil, and I'm adding our hot peppers in there. Very careful not to touch them. I just want to separate them, make sure they're going to get all that delicious brine on them. Oh, between the vinegar and the hot pepper, whoa! So I'm going to lower the heat, and I'm going to let these simmer for 10 minutes. Covered. These simmered for 10 minutes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let them cool for about 30 minutes in the pot, just like this. Just let them sit and cool. So I have a clean, dry glass jar. And now first thing I'm going to do is spoon the peppers into the jar. Again, these are not shelf stable. They have to be refrigerated. I'm going to give a shout out again for this wide mouth funnel. If you do any kind of cooking like this, they are so worth it. The vinegar we just added has so much flavor, and it will continue to gather flavor. So we don't only use the peppers to cook with, we use the vinegar as well. So delicious. Put our lid on because they are pretty cool from sitting for 30 minutes before we put them in here. And here they are. Now they're going to go right into the refrigerator. So good. So excited for this. Okay, into the refrigerator they go. Paul's gracious enough to do a little taste test for us of the pasta with the fresh sauce. How's that pasta?
It is amazing. It is so fresh, absolutely fresh. What a flavor. If you haven't tried it, you gotta try it because it is absolutely amazing.
He's gonna take a bite of the pork chop with the hot cherry pepper.
These are homegrown hot cherry peppers. They did excellent this year. Very happy. My corn, not so good, but the cherry peppers, let's try it. Ooh. Little bit of heat there. This is just incredible. What a great flavor. This is a very good, fresh tasting meal for summertime. Paul approved.
Now we want to share with you a very simple, economical autumn DIY. Literally 2 items. Anyone can do it. I bought the 2 items at the Dollar Tree, $1.25 a piece, so this is going to cost you all of $2.50. I do not buy holiday decor anymore, very, very rarely. I just use the stuff every year. Maybe I'll sneak a piece in to refresh as I do here. So we're going to show you this and we hope you enjoy it. I thought it came out just lovely. Here you go. This is a super frugal, super fun, easy DIY from the Dollar Tree to just kind of give your autumn decor just a little tiny boost. I thought this was so fun. This is one of those Dollar Tree candles that you see in Dollar Tree everywhere. They come in a multitude of colors. I picked white. At the Dollar Tree, they also have these wonderful rub-on transfer stickers. I thought this one was adorable. Pumpkin spice and everything nice. I took the label off the back of the candle, and now they have so many different designs of these transfers, but this was the one I loved the most. Now all you're doing is peeling this off. Now I want this right in the middle. Make sure you know where you want it before you put it down. I'm going to say right here. And one side is sticky, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to take my fingernails, just do this. Now all we're going to do is gently peel this nice and slowly. Now I would use this as decorative only. I wouldn't light it because of the transfers on it. As a decorative piece, I think this is adorable. $2.50. Didn't that turn out beautifully? What a simple, easy DIY. I just did a little corner of the table just to show you what it looked like with some of my autumn decor, but we do not decorate for autumn until mid-September, because as far as we're concerned, summer's still going on. It's still warm, the days are still long, it's lovely out. So we save the autumn decor. I know so many people are on that bandwagon. Let's decorate now, but you know what? Let's enjoy summer right now. Autumn will have its time as well. Today's question of the day: what item do you take and elevate it? And how do you elevate it from a humble ingredient into an ingredient or a dish that would cost so much more if you were to buy it in the store? In other words, my vinegar peppers, humble little pepper now, has turned into a gourmet treat that costs close to $7, $8 a jar. We took what we grew, a little bit of vinegar, it cost us pennies. What ingredient do you take and elevate? It could be pasta, it could be rice, it could be corn, it could be anything. What do you do to make it elegant? What do you do to elevate its flavor and make it unusual, unique, and oh so delicious? Please share that with us down below. It not only encourages us, it encourages our viewers as well. And also, second part of the question, when do you all decorate for fall, if you decorate? So thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't. We'd love to have you be part of our family. Please give this a big thumbs up. Don't forget those comments. We ask you to stay well. We ask you to be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. God bless. We'll see you soon.